we're not in the business of out consoling Sony or out consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution or win for us. And I know that will upset a ton of people, but it's just the truth of the matter is that when you're third place.
I just want to go over and we'll watch it, this kind of wild interview with Phil Spencer of Xbox and the Kinda Funny Games crew, the Xcast here. This is their Xbox podcast. And Phil straight up, they grill him, first of all. So he talks about Redfall, sort of the poor reception of that game. They grill him on that, and they grill him on just Xbox in general and not delivering what they need to, the ABK acquisition falling through. It's a rough interview for Phil Spencer, but honestly, kudos for him having the stones to come out and do the interview. He's basically, in this interview, just to set it up, he's admitting that Xbox is in third place and that they understand that making better games, and he says this verbatim basically, making impressive games, if Starfield was 11 out of 10, no one's selling their other consoles to swap to Xbox. Basically, the path forward is not to make the best games. That's not going to win them the war. And he talks about other tactics, cloud, and things that they're doing, connecting people. But better games are not the focus for them. So let's just watch this. It's kind of tough to watch, but let's get into it here.
So I'm going to go around the table, give everybody one final question for Phil. I'm going to rattle off a couple quick ones with you, Phil. Of course, we talk about 60 frames, 30 frames. Should Xbox players expect a clear message this summer with Starfield with 30 and 60 frames? That's a big lesson learned, as you brought up. Should we expect that answer as clear as day?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great one. Another one, you see a lot of conversation, of course. I want to praise you and the team for really elevating the PC side of this Xbox ecosystem. I think we've seen a lot of great strides in that. But when you see the community talk about the console side of things, do you think you've lost the focus or maybe put too much onto the PC side? Do you think that the console is still getting the console love that it deserves, whether it be the homepage update, achievements, of course, looking forward and using the power of this next gen? Do you think you guys have lost that focus, or is it still there, and can we see more love on that side?
Well, we'll definitely continue to focus on making our console experience as great as it can be. I like the homepage refresh and some stuff. I will say, this might be disruptive as well. We have a different vision. You know, Paris talked about this. It's play the games you want with the people you want anywhere you want. We want Xbox to be something that people who buy our console can feel like they're a member of. Obviously, who are playing on PC, who are playing on cloud, that they feel like they're full members of our ecosystem. Game Pass players can play on many different devices, and we remain fully committed to that. We're not in the business of out consoling Sony or out consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great
I think that's obvious
solution or win for us. And I know that will upset a ton of people, but it's just the truth of the matter is that when you're third place in the console marketplace and the top two players are as strong as they are and have, in certain cases, very, very discrete focus on doing deals and other things that will that kind of make being Xbox hard for us as a team. That's on us, not on anybody else. Our vision is that everybody who's on console has to feel like they have a great experience and they're a first-class citizen. They've invested a ton in our platform. But we are not in a position, and I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games.
He's dead on.
So when you go and you're building on Xbox, we want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the reality of most people. Like 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the three ecosystems, and their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games that they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, like the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want to go back to the time where we all had cartridges and discs, and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world that we are in today. There is no world where Starfield's an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. So what we have to do, and we have this unique vision because we see what creators want to do. Creators want to build games that can meet players on any screen. People play with their friends regardless of what other screen they're on. And the console is the core of the Xbox brand. There's no doubt. So like we will stay focused on making sure that console experience is awesome. But I know some people want to hold us up of just being a better green version of what the blue guys do. And I'm just going to say, like, there's not a win for Xbox in staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off and do our own thing with GamePass, with the stuff we do with xCloud, and the way we build our games. Sorry, I was a little long-winded.
There's not a win for Game Pass or for Xbox in the wake of somebody else. So that's an insane... So for everyone thinking it's Sony versus Microsoft, they're in this back and forth, he's basically saying, no, we're not. We're taking a completely different approach. And this is what I thought from the beginning once Xbox decided to go the route of Game Pass, is they are... Honestly, they seem way more focused on Amazon and Netflix, and that is their competition going forward. And their plan is to hit the masses and get gaming in front of as many people as possible with streaming, with a subscription that's cheap every month. That's how they see. That's where they see an opening in the market, because they know they can't compete on the classic front. That's a crazy admission, and I give him credit for coming out and saying it. Also, kudos, go watch the stream to support Kinda Funny, but kudos to Snowbike Mike and Paris for grilling him. They grilled him like pretty hard throughout this interview, and I was kind of shocked and impressed by it. But just a wild admission for Xbox. But I'm not sure that I totally agree with Phil here, because the Xbox 360 generation, I think this is what most... I think if you're an Xbox fan today, it's because, for the majority, it's because you were a Xbox 360 fan. Xbox 360 seems to be the heart and soul of the Xbox brand. That's where it all started. You had massive games, Halo, Mass Effect, the Elder Scrolls games being exclusive. Like that generation for Xbox was massive, and they destroyed that generation. And it wasn't on the back of services outside of online, which was the best, clearly. But it was on the back of like insanely good games. They had awesome games that generation. And he readily admits that the Xbox One generation destroyed them. And it's so true. Everything moved digital. You moved away from physical discs to digital. And Sony, I think, had a 3-to-1 sales lead that generation with the PlayStation 4. Just the whole debacle with Kinect and always online DRM check-ins, and just those brutal... Don Matrick just led Xbox. It was rough. Those press conferences focusing on TV was brutal for Xbox, and it's partially why Phil's been brought in to clean it and take them in a new direction. But going forward, if the AAA, don't expect them to try to compete in that space, at least based on this information. I think he's partially wrong, because I think if Xbox comes out with fantastic AAA games over and over again, which they have a ridiculous amount of studios to do, if they do that over and over again, there's no reason why people wouldn't purchase that as a second console if they already owned a PS5. But he is correct in saying no one's selling their PlayStation to go buy an Xbox, or even vice versa. If you are in those camps already, your digital library from the PS4 and Xbox One generations are built. Like, why would you swap and lose all those digital games? So, sort of a striking admission from the leadership there at Xbox, and just interesting. Anyway, subscribe. Trying to build this channel from scratch, and would appreciate you guys. Thanks.